The gavel of the judge crashes against the polished oak bench, sending a reverberation through my very core, as if awakening echoes of the decades I've spent in quiet endurance. Here I sit, Margaret Thompson, 68 years old, in this sterile courtroom, my arthritic hands gripping a faded blue envelope that's been my silent companion for 14 years. My pulse races like a wild drum, threatening to betray my composure to everyone around me. Across the aisle stands my daughter, Sophia, in her sharp business attire, her attorney gesturing accusingly toward me as though I'm the villain in this twisted tale. Sophia's eyes blaze with an anger I can't fathom, more perhaps one I know too intimately. Next to her, lawyer David Reynolds pores over his notes with the smug assurance of a man convinced justice is his ally. "Your Honor," Sophia declares, her voice steady despite the quiver beneath it, "my mother has held my children captive for 14 years without my permission. This is nothing short of parental abduction. I never gave her the right to keep them." The word abduction slices through me like a razor, embedding itself in the vault where I've stored all my maternal sorrows. I glance back at my 3 grandchildren, Benjamin, 21, Olivia, 19, and Isabella, 17, perched in the 4th row. Their expressions are ghostly, bewildered, as if they've stumbled into a nightmare scripted in a foreign language. Judge Alexander Hayes, with his salt and pepper beard and weary gaze, peers at me over his bifocals. "Mrs. Thompson, how do you respond to these allegations?" My knuckles whiten around the envelope. Inside lie the relics of a truth I've guarded like a sacred relic or an unhealed scar. "Your Honor," I reply, my voice emerging steadier than I feel, "I didn't abduct anyone. I merely nurtured the children my daughter discarded on my porch like forgotten luggage." "That's a fabrication," Sophia erupts, leaping to her feet. "I never discarded them. I was battling severe bipolar disorder. I required immediate intervention." Her lawyer placates her with a subtle wave. "Your Honor, my client was institutionalized for acute manic episodes. Mrs. Thompson exploited that fragility to seize the children and estrange them from their rightful parent." The courtroom buzzes with murmurs. Spectators exchange nods, prematurely assigning roles of hero and villain. But I've lived this reality, every sunrise and sunset for 14 years, waking to their cries, soothing fevers, guiding homework, offering embraces when they whispered questions about their absent mother. "Mrs. Thompson," the judge intones gently, "I acknowledge the burdens of raising your grandchildren. But if the biological mother seeks custody, with utmost respect—" "Your Honor," I interject, my tone sharpening unexpectedly, "there are revelations this court must hear before any ruling." I lift the blue envelope aloft. It's a modest act, yet Sophia's eyes dilate with what appears to be dread. Contained herein are documents that will reshape this entire narrative. The judge inclines forward. "What manner of documents?" "Evidence of the events from 14 years past. Proof of my daughter's true motives today, and it's not born of parental affection." My words waver, not from terror, but from a profound, unnamed sentiment. Sophia "Mom, don't do this." "Do what, Sophia?" "Unveil the facts." Attorney David Reynolds clears his throat. "Your Honor," Mrs. Thompson is deflecting from the core matter, "antiquated papers don't negate my client's parental entitlements. On the contrary," I counter, locking eyes with Sophia, "these elucidate precisely why, after 14 years of utter radio silence, no financial support, no holiday greetings, not even a postcard, she materializes with legal muscle." The room's hush is oppressive, like the lull before thunder. I hear my own heartbeat, the fidgety shuffle of Reynolds' documents, the uneven breaths of my grandchildren. Judge Hayes scrutinizes me. "Mrs. Thompson, are you implying ulterior motives in this suit?" "I'm not implying, Your Honor. I'm affirming." My gaze meets Sophia's, mirroring the guilty look she wore as a child caught in deceit. "And it's all chronicled here." "Mom," Sophia murmurs, "consider the consequences." "I've had 14 years of contemplation," I retort. 14 years of midnight vigils when Benjamin spiked fevers. 14 years of parent-teacher conferences as the sole attendee. 14 years awaiting a call that never materialized. Judge Hayes raps his gavel lightly. "Mrs. Thompson, will you submit these documents as evidence?" I regard the envelope. Within are Sophia's letters, preserved photos, hoarded receipts, and more secrets even my grandchildren remain ignorant of, poised to append everything. "Yes, Your Honor, I am prepared." The judge nods, consulting his docket. "Very well, but first, recount the full sequence of events from 14 years ago." I shut my eyes briefly, summoning that fateful day. It was a stormy Wednesday in November. I was in my cozy living room, knitting a scarf to distract from the oncologist's grim update on my earliest stage osteoporosis. A insistent pounding echoed at the door around midday. I commence, my voice softening with reminiscence. Sophia arrived unannounced with the 3 children. Benjamin was 7, Olivia 5, and Isabella scarcely 3. They were disheveled, garments rumpled, the youngest wailing from exhaustion and hunger. I turned to my grandchildren. Benjamin offers a melancholic nod, fragments of memory surfacing. Olivia's eyes shimmer, and Isabella clings to her sweater as she did in her toddler fears. My daughter burst in like a tempest. I proceed. She lugged a garbage bag stuffed with mismatched, soiled clothes. "Mom, watch them for a bit," she pleaded. "Just a month or 2 until I stabilize." Sophia averts her gaze. Her lawyer mutters counsel, but she remains mute. She recalls that afternoon as vividly as I pressed for details: financial woes, issues with their father. But she evaded, insisting on her imminent return. She pecked each cheek hastily and vanished into the rain. The children pressed against the window, sobbing, "Mommy, Mommy," yet she was already in a cab, receding into the downpour. The courtroom's silence deepens, breaths held in collective suspense. That evening, Benjamin inquired when she'd retrieve them. I assured soon. Isabella whimpered for her stuffed rabbit left behind. Olivia, ever the resilient one, assisted with bedtime stories, sensing the shift in our world. Days blurred into weeks. No address for Sophia. She'd relocated without trace. The children queried daily. Benjamin developed nightmares, waking in screams. Olivia withdrew into silence for weeks. Isabella suffered recurrent ear infections, her cries piercing the night. I glance at Sophia, who fidgets, twisting a necklace. To normalize life, I registered them at the local school. I needed records, birth certificates, medical histories. Visiting her former residence, tenants revealed she'd fled owing for months' rent. The superintendent relinquished a carton of abandoned items, including vital papers. Judge Hayes jots notes. "Did you alert authorities?" "Your Honor, I deemed it transient." Sophia had prior struggles, but never total desertion. I trusted her return. What could I report? A mother entrusting offspring to kin. No offense then. I pause, fixing on Sophia. But months stretched to years. Benjamin turned 8, yearning to invite her to his celebration. We searched futilely. Olivia entered kindergarten. When queried on parents, she declared me her real mom, Margaret. Emotions swell. I blinked back tears. This is for resolve, not lament. Costs mounted. My retirement stipend sufficed solo. Now, 3 mouths, wardrobes, educations. I pawned heirlooms, moonlighted as a seamstress. A neighbor, Mrs. Clara Whitaker, my cousin, babysat during shifts. The judge perks at Whitaker. Related, my cousin, Your Honor. She can corroborate our early hardships. Sophia and Reynolds trade anxious looks. Unanticipated, when Isabella hit 6, calamity struck. Appendicitis requiring surgery. Hospital demanded insurance. Consent. Thus, I pursued temporary guardianship legally. Exhausted savings on counsel $1,200 I scraped. The attorney hunted Sophia, posting legal notices. Silence. "You secured guardianship?" Judge Hayes inquires. "Yes, Your Honor. 11 years ago, this court awarded it. For 4 years, law mandated ongoing searches. She never surfaced, never contributed, never inquired." Sophia bolts upright. "I was ill. Manic depression crippled me. I couldn't parent then." "Sit," the judge commands sternly. "Proceed, Mrs. Thompson." The children flourished under me. Benjamin excelled in college prep, earning scholarships. Olivia triumphed in art competitions. Isabella mastered piano, joining orchestra. Therapy when warranted. Checkups, milestones. I was there for all. My grandchildren. Olivia dabs tears. I never concealed their mother, portrayed her lovingly, incapable then, kept albums, saved mementos for her hypothetical return. No contact in 14 years. The judge probes. None, until 3 months ago. She arrived with Reynolds in custody writ. Judge Hayes leans in. 3 months. What prompted? After such void, I smile, wryly, brandishing the envelope. "The key, Your Honor, resides here. Approach and submit," he directs. I rise gingerly, joints protesting, resolve unyielding. Sophia's foot taps erratically. "Your Honor," Reynolds interjects. "Defense must vet documents pre-admission." "Naturally," Hayes concurs. "Clerk, Facilitate. I unsealed the envelope reverently. Fingers quiver with anticipation. Contents, snapshots, missives, bills, and crux. Commence here, I state, extracting bundled photos with a green bow. Images from their arrival day. The clerk relays to Hayes, who inspects gravely. Elucidate these, Mrs. Thompson. First, Benjamin in ragged attire, sneakers split. Second, Olivia with matted hair Grimes. Third, Isabella in soiled diapers, unchanged F. First, Benjamin in ragged attire, sneakers split. Second, Olivia with matted hair, grime streak. Third, Isabella in soiled diapers, unchanged for hours. Sophia buries her face. Reynolds consoles futilely. She denies. I documented per advice from a paramedic friend not to indict, but record. I explain. Hayes forwards to Reynolds, who skims, showing Sophia. She winces. Memories assaulting. Now, I continue, proffering letters. Sophia's correspondence in initial 8 months. Hayes note script. Her penmanship. Indubitably, Your Honor. To Sophia. Recount their contents. Dear. Silence. Reynolds. Reads. Paling. Your Honor. I articulate. First letter. 4 weeks post-departure. Sophia met Victor Hale. Relocating cross-state. Begged extension. He shunned instant family. Room freezes. Eyes bore into Sophia. Weeping quietly. Second. Pregnant with Victor's child. Now 13. Raised comfortably as past burdens deterred. Reclaiming mine. Grandchildren. Gasp. Revelation stuns. Concealed sibling despair pain. Third. Urged signing waiver of claims for her fresh start. Tendered $600 reimbursement. Reynolds Blanche Glyan's narrative omitted this. You signed? Hayes queries. No, replied. Keep money. Vanish wholly until maternal readiness. I produce finale. Her retort last contact. Hayes reads, jaw tightening. Read aloud. Mrs. Thompson. Hand steady. Voice resolute. Mom. Agreed. Cease intrusions. Nurture them. I've my kin now. If queried, say I relocated for career. Spare their anguish. Regards. Sophia. Grandchildren. Weep. Benjamin Haft. Olivia Restrans. Your Honor, I affirm, honored her wish. No pursuit. Raised with love. Scant means. Awaiting genuine return. Why now? Hayes presses. Sad grin. Extract document. For months past, my sister Lydia Thompson bequeathed $60,000 per grandchild. Sophia wails. Reynolds deflots, but I add, claimable solely via direct kin, custody mother, or guardian. I'd commenced 4 majors. Hayes, implying Sophia seeks for inheritance access. Final sheet, private inquiry report. 3 months ago, she engaged Reynolds, probed Lydia's estate. Objection. Reynolds bellows. Illicit surveillance. Licensed PI post. Protective right. I counter serenely. Gavel. Order. Hayes to me. More in envelope. Envelope lightens, yet heaviest secret lingers. Yes, Your Honor. Grandchildren. Unaware. Hayes adjusts specs. Relevant. Before. I plead. Here grandchildren. Fairness demands their voice. Sophia perks, hopefully. Reynolds concurs. Minors input vital. Hayes assents. Benjamin Thompson. Stand. My eldest, 21, lanky with inherited wit, approaches deliberately. Benjamin. Speak candidly. Recall, your mother. Gulp. Fleeting glance at Sophia. Vaguely. Your Honor. Chaos. Home. Sparse meals. Grandma Margaret's grocery rescues. Arrival day. Baths. Fresh garb. Homemade stew. Absence feelings. Long anger. Incomprehension. Peers had parental support. I had grandmodule jobs, yet omnipresent. Now, with mother's return, to Sophia, glad you're well, overcame, but 14 years, indelible. Can't feign no pain from your new family while we pondered faults. Hush profound. Sophia sabis. Preference. Hayes asks. Adult, but for sisters, with Grandma Margaret, unconditional love, no abandonment. He retreats. Hayes summons Olivia. 19. Poised yet tense, advances. Olivia, your view. Deep inhale. Clearer memories. Mom's tears. Bedridden days. Self-reliance. Understand illness. But arrival at Grandma's. Fed. Stories. Assurances. Tears flow. Grandma managed my asthma diagnosis at 13. Learned inhalers. Diets. All for us. Stay with whom? Blood ties Mom. But Grandma shared life. Decision. Her. Lastly, Isabella, 17, rebellious yet fierce, strides forward. Isabella, memories to Sophia, young, but hunger, unanswered cries. desolate scent, Sophia crumbles. But Grandma's first day, warm bath, soft pajamas, cocoa lullaby, no mother better, curious, yet fearful of reabandon, promises echo past. Safest where, with Grandma Margaret truthful steadfast, she sits, haze to me, preferences clear. More, envelope yields final, creased page, document from Sophia's forsaken belongings, voluntary parental rights relinquishment, handwritten, signed post-departure 3 days. Haze rises, stunned, this alters all. The courtroom erupts in gasps, but in that moment, justice feels within reach. The weight of 14 years lifting as truth prevails. The courtroom air was thick with anticipation, the kind that settles like fog over a battlefield before the first shot is fired. I, Margaret Thompson, sat rigidly in my chair, my hands folded tightly over the stack of documents that could either save my family or shatter it forever. At 68 years old, I'd raised my grandchildren, now 20, Olivia, 18, and Isabella, 16, since the day their mother, my daughter Sophia, walked out on them 13 years ago. That fateful day in October 2012, she left them on my doorstep with nothing but a hastily packed bag of clothes and a note that read, "I can't do this anymore." Now, here we were, in this sterile courtroom in downtown Seattle, fighting over custody because Sophia had suddenly reappeared, claiming she'd changed and wanted her children back. But I knew the truth. It was all about the money. The judge, Elizabeth Harper, a stern woman in her late 50s with sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, banged her gavel once to silence the murmurs. "Mrs. Thompson," she said, her voice echoing off the wood-paneled walls, "you may present your evidence." I stood, my knees protesting from years of chasing toddlers and then teenagers, and approached the bench. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest, but I kept my composure. I'd prepared for this moment for weeks, ever since Sophia's lawyer served me with papers demanding full custody. "Your Honor," I began, my voice steady despite the storm inside me, "I have here a document that changes everything. It's a voluntary relinquishment of parental rights, written and signed by my daughter Sophia herself." The room fell silent, save for the faint hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. Sophia, seated at the plaintiff's table with her lawyer David Harrington, a slick man in a tailored suit who looked like he'd stepped out of a courtroom drama, shifted uncomfortably. Her face, once so youthful and full of promise, now bore the lines of 39 hard-lived years. She avoided my gaze, staring at the floor as if it held the answers to her life's mistakes. "Mrs. Thompson, are you certain about this?" Judge Harper asked, leaning forward slightly, her expression a mix of skepticism and curiosity. "Absolutely certain, Your Honor," I replied, extending the yellowed paper toward the court clerk. It was creased from years of being tucked away in my safe, a relic of pain I'd hoped never to unearth. This was found among the belongings Sophia left behind in her old apartment. The landlord, Mrs. Rita Monroe, handed it to me along with some old photos, bills, and other personal items my daughter abandoned when she fled. Sophia gasped audibly, her hand flying to her mouth as if to stifle a scream. She swayed in her seat, and David Harrington quickly steadied her, his own face paling as he took the document from the clerk. He scanned it hurriedly, his lips moving silently as he read. This can't be authentic," he muttered under his breath, loud enough for those nearby to hear. "Read it aloud for the court, Mr. Harrington," the judge commanded, her tone leaving no room for argument. Harrington cleared his throat, his voice cracking slightly as he began. "I, Sophia Thompson, aged 26, hereby voluntarily relinquish all parental rights to my children, Benjamin Thompson, aged 7, Olivia Thompson, aged 5, and Isabella Thompson, aged 3. I admit that I lack the emotional, financial, and mental stability to provide for them properly." The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the ragged breaths of my grandchildren seated behind me. Benjamin, the eldest, clenched his fists, his jaw set in a mix of anger and confusion. Olivia wiped at her eyes discreetly, while Isabella, the youngest, stared wide-eyed at her mother across the room, as if seeing a ghost from a forgotten dream. "Continue," Judge Harper prompted gravely. Harrington hesitated, then pressed on. "I grant full authority to my mother, Margaret Thompson, to handle all legal, medical, and educational matters concerning my children. I waive any rights to visitation, contact, or future claims. This choice is final and irrevocable." Signed, Sophia Thompson, dated October 18, 2012. Sophia erupted into sobs. her shoulders shaking violently. I was out of my mind. I didn't mean it. I was sick, depressed. It wasn't real. The judge rapped her gavel sharply. Order in the court. Mrs. Thompson, do you have corroboration that this document was authored willingly by your daughter? Yes, Your Honor, I said, my voice calm but resolute. Mrs. Rita Monroe, the landlord where Sophia resided at the time, can testify. She provided Sophia with the paper and pen 3 days after she dropped the children off at my home. Mrs. Monroe will confirm that Sophia appeared lucid and composed during that period. No signs of duress or instability. David Harrington leaned in to whisper frantically to Sophia, but her cries drowned out his words. The tension in the room thickened, like storm clouds gathering. I could feel every eye on me, from the bailiff in the corner to the sparse audience of court observers. But I wasn't done. There's more, Your Honor, I continued, my tone measured. Something you uncovered just 2 weeks ago that explains Sophia's sudden return after all these years. Uncovered just 2 weeks ago that explains Sophia's sudden return after all these years. All attention snapped to me. I reached into my handbag and produced a slim folder, its contents the result of a private investigator's diligent work. Your Honor, I engaged an investigator not just to track Sophia's recent activities, but to understand her motivations fully. What we found is illuminating. Sophia lifted her head, her mascara-streaked face a mask of dread. Her partner, Carlos Reyes, a burly man with a perpetual scowl, who sat in the back row, shifted uneasily. Sophia and her husband, Carlos Reyes, are in dire financial straits, I explained, handing the folder to the clerk. 6 months ago, Carlos was laid off from his construction job. 4 months ago, they faced eviction from their rental home in Portland. And 3 months ago precisely, when news of my sister's inheritance reached them, they initiated these custody proceedings. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Benjamin leaned forward, his eyes narrowing at his mother. Grandma, he murmured, but I held up a hand gently. Sophia shot up. Mom, please let me explain. Finish your statement, Mrs. Thompson, the judge interjected firmly. The investigator revealed they've been surviving on high-interest loans and maxed-out credit cards, accumulating over $35,000 in debt, I said, my gaze locking onto Sophia's. They learned about the $60,000 inheritance from my late sister, earmarked for the children in a trust fund I manage. Judge Harper perused the documents, her brow furrowing. And you contend that this inheritance is the true impetus for reclaiming custody? I don't contend it, Your Honor. I know it, I asserted, because 1 week ago, Sophia called me for the first time in 13 years. Gasps rippled through the room. Even my grandchildren turned to me in shock. I'd kept this secret to shield them. Olivia's hand flew to her mouth. Grandma, you never said ... What was discussed in that call? The judge inquired. She claimed she'd grown up, overcome her issues, and wanted her kids back, I recounted, pausing for effect. When I pressed why now, after so long, she mentioned saving money for a better life. Then I brought up the inheritance. There was a pregnant pause, and she said, Mom, that money is for my children. I just want to ensure they get it properly. The judge nodded. Your response? I assured her the funds were secure in trust until each child turns 21, managed by me as guardian. Her demeanor shifted instantly. Sophia buried her face in her hands, anticipating what came next. She insisted that, as their biological mother, she had superior rights to oversee the inheritance. I continued. She mentioned consulting a lawyer and threatened legal action for custody. She warned me of accusations of kidnapping and alienation, claiming witnesses to back her up. She even said a judge would always side with the birth mother over a grandmother. Isabella stood abruptly. Grandma, why hide that she threatened you? To spare you more pain, I whispered, my heart aching. The truth emerges when it must. The judge banged her gavel. Please sit, young lady. Then, to me, do you have a recording of this call? No, Your Honor, but better. Text messages she sent afterward, reiterating her threats. I've printed them for the court. I produced the printouts, passing them forward. Judge Harper read them silently, her face hardening. Read select messages aloud, she directed. I complied, my voice clear and unwavering. From July 15th. Mom, think carefully. I'm the real mother. Any judge will rule for me. Don't complicate this. From July 17th, my lawyer says your actions border on parental abduction. You could face prison. And July 19th, if you hand over custody willingly. We split the inheritance 50/50. You get half for raising them. I get half as their mom. force a trial, and I take it all. The judge set the papers down, fixing Sophia with a piercing stare. Ms. Reyes, do you acknowledge sending these? Sophia nodded through tears. Mute, Harrington looked utterly deflated. Your Honor, I said softly, I'm not here for vengeance. I recognize Sophia's youth. Her struggles with postpartum depression and instability led to rash choices. I glanced at her, a wave of old sorrow washing over me, but I can't condone her return after 13 years of silence after legally marrying Carlos, starting a new family with their son Miguel, and erasing these children from her life solely because money surfaced. What relief do you seek? The judge asked. Confirmation of my permanent guardianship, denial of Sophia's custody claim, and a restraining order barring contact until the children, as adults, choose otherwise. Sophia cried out, You can't keep them from me forever. I turned to her, pain etching my features. Sophia, you surrendered them 13 years ago. I'm not taking, I'm safeguarding what you discarded. The judge announced the 30-minute recess to deliberate. The room partially cleared, but I stayed seated, clutching my bag like a lifeline. My grandchildren enveloped me in hugs, their warmth a balm against the chill of betrayal. Grandma Isabella whispered, Why keep the relinquishment secret? To let you form unbiased views of your mother when ready, I murmured, brushing her hair. I refused to plant hate. To let you form unbiased views of your mother when ready, I murmured, brushing her hair. I refused to plant hate. Benjamin gripped my hand. You said she might return someday. Was that a lie? No, dear, I hoped she'd return for love, not greed. That call shattered the illusion. Olivia glanced at Sophia, huddled with Harrington. What's next? We've spoken truth, I said. Now we wait. During recess, Sophia approached hesitantly, ignoring Harrington's restraint. She moved like a shadow, fragile and uncertain. Mom, she said, voice quivering like a child's after a scolding. Can we talk alone? We stepped into the hallway, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. I know I messed up horribly, she began, but I've changed. Truly, changed, or desperate for cash? I asked, bluntly, years granting me candor. She averted her eyes. Both, yes, we need money, but I've ached for my kids all this time. Ached, my tone sharpened. Sophia, 13 years to reach out a call, a letter, a holiday card, 13 years to inquire about their well-being. I was terrified they'd despised me for leaving, she whispered. Then why battle now, after fear held you back? She leaned against the wall, as if it alone kept her upright. Carlos pushed me. He said if I didn't reclaim the kids and inheritance, he'd leave. He can't be with someone who threw away $60,000. Her raw admission stunned me. For a flash, I saw the vulnerable girl she'd been, trapped in cycles of poor choices. So, unchanged after all, I said sadly. 13 years ago, a man's demands drove you away. Now, another's bring you back. It's not that black and white, she protested, voice rising before dropping to a hush. You don't get the pressure. Carlos has been my rock. Without him, I'm jobless, homeless, penniless, and your son Miguel, the one you raised because it fit your new life. She recoiled. Miguel's different. He was planned, part of our marriage. Your first 3 deserved that too. Unconditional love, I countered, but you couldn't provide it. I was barely an adult, she burst out, tears flowing. Pregnant at 19, overwhelmed. Benjamin's cries triggered my breakdowns. Olivia's fears amplified mine. I crumbled. Compassion stirred in me. Why not seek my help then? Mom, I need support. We could have co-parented. I feared your judgment, that you'd see me as a failure. Sophia, I softened. I'd have helped. But you fled severed ties. I know, she sobbed. Guilt haunted me. But now, with the money, I can give them what I couldn't. It's not about money, I insisted. It's the abandonment, the written surrender, the new family built while forgetting them. Sophia straightened, a spark of old defiance igniting. Legally, I'm their mother. That note wasn't notarized or court-filed. It's not binding. There she was, the calculating Sophia. So, this is strategy for funds, not family. Both, she pleaded. We can compromise. I take them, you visit, share raising, split inheritance fairly. You deserve repayment for your efforts. Repayment, I echoed bitterly. Sophia, raising them wasn't transactional. Doctor visits, sleepless nights, school events. I did it from love, not ledger. She pleaded, hands over ears. I won't, I pressed. They weren't investments. Their family. I loved them when you couldn't. She lowered her hands, eyes pleading like her teenage self post-mist. Mom, How can I earn forgiveness? Forgiveness, I'd rehearsed this. It's not bargained for. It's granted to release bitterness. Do you forgive me? I studied heard this woman still craving maternal approval. Emotions swirled. Love, letdown, grief, faint hope. I forgive the frightened young mother, the overwhelmed runaway, but not the opportunist returning for gain, threatening jail. Her face fell. No redemption. Yes, return to your life. He'll genuinely offer love sans strings. Then, perhaps the kids choose contact and the money. There's managed wisely till maturity. A bailiff summoned us back. As we re-entered, Sophia grasped my arm. Mom, if I drop the supervised visits, not my call, I said. I'll honor their wishes. No coercion. The courtroom reconvened. Tension electric. Judge Harper resumed. This case disturbs deeply, transcending custody. She addressed Sophia. Ms. Reyes, post-review of your handwritten threatening texts and 13-year absence, grave concerns arise. Sophia rose shakily. Do you affirm voluntarily authoring the October 18, 2012 relinquishment? Your Honor, Harrington interjected. My client suffered acute mental distress, then, invalidating responsibility. Mr. Harrington, the judge retorted sharply. I've examined your psychiatric evidence. She was discharged stable 2 months prior, certified competent. Sophia Harrington seated her. Moreover, the judge added, records show your marriage to Carlos Reyes on December 22, 2012, mere weeks post-relinquishment. How could one incompetent for parental decisions commit to matrimony? The question hung unanswered, sealing the narrative's weight. The courtroom held its breath, awaiting verdict on our fractured family's fate. In the hushed stillness of the courtroom, the only sound is the frantic rhythm of my pulse echoing in my ears as I wait for my daughter's response. Your Honor, Sophia murmurs, her voice cracking like fragile glass. I just wanted a fresh start. I believed it would be best for all of us. Best for all of us, or best for you. The judge's words slice through the air, pointed and unyielding. Sophia dissolves into sobs, unable to form a reply. The judge presses on, undeterred. Ms. Rivera, I've also examined the school records of your daughter, Mia. Born in 2013, they indicate you've been an engaged and attentive parent in her life, attending conferences, volunteering at events, and providing a steady environment for over a decade. This proves you possessed the ability to parent, yet you selectively applied it only to the child who fit your circumstances. Each syllable from the judge lands like a thunderclap, sealing the fate of Sophia's desperate plea. I see her slump in her seat, utterly broken. But what troubles me most, the judge intones, holding aloft the printed emails, are these blatant threats directed at your mother, warning her of fabricated claims of child abduction. This isn't merely unethical, it's blackmail, a grave criminal offense. Attorney Lisa Chen leaps to her feet in a frantic bid. Your Honor, I beg for a brief adjournment to discuss with my client the option of dismissing the suit. Attorney Chen, the judge responds sternly. Given the evidence, particularly the extortion threats, I'm duty-bound to forward this matter to the prosecutor's office for potential charges against your client. Sophia cries out from her place. No, please, I only wanted my kids back. Ms. Rivera, the judge retorts with steel in his tone, you didn't seek your children, you sought the estate funds. The proof is irrefutable. He shifts his gaze to me. Señora Anisabella Rivera, do you intend to pursue extortion charges against your daughter? The query stuns me. For months, I'd rehearsed this scenario. But deciding to potentially incarcerate my own flesh and blood was beyond my imaginings. I glance at Sophia, her eyes beseeching me, then at my grandchildren, their faces taut with anticipation. Finally, I search my soul and unearth a resolution that astonishes even myself. Your Honor, I do not wish to press criminal charges against my daughter. Sophia exhales in visible relief, but I persist. That said, I seek a protective order barring her from any contact with my grandchildren or me for at least 5 years, except via legal counsel and with this court's explicit consent. The judge inclines his head. A sensible petition. Is there more, Mrs. Rivera? Yes, Your Honor. I ask that the public record affirm Ms. Sophia Rivera voluntarily surrendered all parental rights to Lucas, Olivia, and Sophia Rivera on November 20th, and that any subsequent bids for custody or rights be deemed baseless and legally invalid. Approved, the judge declares, jotting it down. Sophia staggers to her feet, unsteady. Mom, please, don't do this. Don't strip my children from me eternally. I face her, and for the first time in this ordeal, my words emerged gentle yet resolute. Sophia, I'm not stripping anything. You relinquished them 14 years ago. You penned that waiver. You opted to build a new life and erase them. I'm merely safeguarding what you discarded. But they're my kids, she weeps. No, I counter steadily. They are the children you bore, but I am the one who nurtured them. I am the one who offered unwavering love. I am the one who forfeited my serenity, my vitality, and my savings to grant them security. Lucas stands from the audience. Your Honor, may I speak? The judge assents. Come forward. My grandson strides to the witness area with the poise of a grown man, though his eyes betray the wounded boy within. Your Honor, let the record show that my sisters and I do not regard Sofia Rivera as our mother. She granted us life, but our mother is Isabella River, the woman who reared us, schooled us, cherished us, and never forsaken us. He pivots to Sophia. And Sophia, understand this. If you ever genuinely transform, if you can extend authentic affection without strings, if you demonstrate true growth, perhaps we'll entertain knowing you as an individual, but you'll never claim the title of mother. That belongs to Grandma Isabella. Sophia wails inconsolably, but Lucas isn't done. Regarding Uncle Marco's estate, when we reach 21 and control those funds, a share will go to Grandma Isabella. She merits recompense for her endless sacrifices. Olivia and Sophia rise and flank their brother. I'd like to add something, Olivia states clearly. Sophia, I bear no hatred, but you're a stranger who contributed some genetics. My true family is here with Grandma Isabella and my siblings. Sophia, the youngest, locks eyes with Sophia. And know this, if you'd returned out of love, if you'd truly yearned for us, maybe bridges could form, but you returned for cash. That reveals your core essence. The judge raps his gavel softly. This court hereby decrees permanent legal guardianship of Mrs. Isabella Rivera over minors Olivia Rivera and Sofia Rivera is upheld. A 5-year no-contact order is imposed on Ms. Sofia Rivera. Her custody petition is invalidated, and future filings are barred absent compelling new proof of altered conditions. Sophia crumples, supported solely by her attorney. Mom, she murmurs, can you ever fully pardon me? I approach her deliberately, bearing the burden of decades. Reaching her, I cup her tear-smeared face. Sophia, I pardoned you ages ago, but pardon doesn't equate to permitting further harm to these children. They've endured plenty. What now? She queries in a child's lost timbre. Return home, tend to the child you have, focus on self-improvement, on becoming better. And maybe, in time, if you've evolved, your children will choose to connect. And if Carlos abandons me over the lost money, I draw a profound breath. Then it's time to stand independently. Daughter, time to cease shaping choices around men's demands. The judge rises, signaling closure. Court adjourned. Exiting the chamber, a peculiar blend of victory and sorrow envelops me. I triumphed legally, yet mourned the shattered illusion of my daughter's noble return. But as my grandchildren envelop me in embraces in the corridor, certainty blooms. My choices were just, at times, love demands shielding the vulnerable, even at another's pain. For months post-trial, I lounge in my cozy living room, observing Sophia rehearse piano for her upcoming concert. Afternoon sun filters through curtains, highlighting her focused features so reminiscent of mine in youth. Lucas attends university on a merit-based scholarship we fought to obtain. Olivia balances a cafe job with her senior year. Existence has settled into a calmer cadence, free from the perpetual dread of disruption. No more anxious vigils over lawsuits. The protective order has bestowed tranquility. The doorbell chimes. It's Mrs. Clara, my longtime neighbor and the judge's cousin, bearing a basket of homemade empanadas. Isabella, see what I've prepared. She beams warmly. I figured you'd appreciate a treat after your efforts. Thank you, Clara. Join me for tea. As we brew, Clara wears that familiar hesitant look. Out with it, Clara. We've shared 35 years. It's Sophia, she ventures. My cousin Victor mentioned she's inquiring about appealing the ruling. A twinge grips my gut, but I steady myself. And the response? No viable basis. Her rights waiver holds, bolstered by her actions. But Isabella, more. Carlos departed last month, taking Mia. He branded her foolish for squandering. $200,000. The revelation stings despite her betrayals. She's my blood, and her anguish wounds me. Where's she residing? A modest flat in the suburbs. She's waitressing evenings now. Victor says she appears gaunt, desolate, Sophia pauses her melody and nears, talking about my birth mom. Yes, dear, I affirm truthfully. She's facing hardships. Sophia perches beside me. Do you pity her, Grandma? Her insight startles. Yes, I do. She's my daughter still. Suffering pains me. But we weren't wrong to protect ourselves, were we? I grin, stroking her locks. No, sweetheart. Life demands tough calls. Compassion and self-preservation can coexist. Clara chimes in softly. Isabella, another detail. Sophia's querying about the kids indirectly through acquaintances, about their studies, needs. No order breach, but Victor thought you'd want awareness. Plotting anew. I fret, unsure, but be vigilant. That evening, post Sophia's bedtime, I ponder Sophia envisioning her, isolated in that dingy space. Sans partner, sans child, sans stability. Her remorse, isolation, despair. Dawn breaks. I resolve unexpectedly. I shop for provisions, pasta, canned goods, fruits, eggs, yogurt. I load bags and drive to the address Clara provided. The structure is weathered. Stairs creaky to the second floor. I rap on to see. Footfalls approach. Who's there? It's me, Sophia, your mom. Silence stretches, then locks, disengage. The door swings. Sophia stands, a shadow of herself, emaciated, shadowed eyes, faded attire. Mom, she breathes incredulously. Why are you here? Brought essentials, I say, proffering bags. May I enter? She yields. The space is cramped, yet tidy. A worn couch, dining set, outdated fridge. Bills pile on a counter. Why? She probes, as I unpack. Because you're my daughter. I can't let you starve, regardless. Sophia sinks onto the couch, sobbing. Mom, I've lost it all. Carlos took Mia, called me a failure for botching easy riches with sentimentality. I settled nearby. What did you say? Nothing, he's correct. I'm a failure. Lost my first kids, the fortune, Mia, our home. Sophia, I intoned gently yet firmly. You didn't lose your first children. You deserted them. Own the distinction. She meets Mia, our home. Sophia, I intoned gently yet firmly. You didn't lose your first children. You deserted them. Own the distinction. She meets my gaze, eyes puffy. You'll eternally hurl my errors at me. Not hurl, but neither will I permit revisionism. Change begins with truth, acceptance. And that truth, I rise, gazing out at the bustling avenue. You bore 3 wondrous children and ditched them for relational convenience. Built anew, erased them for 14 years, resurfaced solely for funds. I know, she erupts. Guilt haunts me daily. I pivot. Guilt's futile veiled self-commiseration. True remorse and change drive progress. How discern genuine remorse? Genuine, you'd have sought absolution, not custody. Offered aid, not extraction. Sophia quiets profoundly. Eventually, can I ever reconnect with my kids? Possibly, I concede. On their timetable, if inclined. Meanwhile, seek therapy, secure employment, master independence sans male reliance, evolve into the mother they'd admire. I head out. This sustains a week. Then, self-reliance. Will you return? She pleads softly, uncertain. Sophia, hinges on your forthcoming choices. The parting, ambivalent stirs. Was this wise? Yet, maternal instinct prevailed. Homeward, Lucas pores over texts. Grandma, where have you been? Visited your birth mom. His demeanor shifts. Why? She's starving. She's my daughter. He shuts volumes. Earnest, hope that doesn't invite her back. No, dear. It's compassion minus vulnerability. He nods. Think she reform? Unknown. If so, self-motivated, not coerced. That night, pre-slumber, more lessons gleaned. Authentic love erects barriers. Safeguarding kin sometimes means denying others. Justices and vengeances consequence fruition. Amid love over bitterness. 18 months post-trial. I tend my balcony herbs. Basil thriving from autumn sowing. Lucas excels in his tech role. Post-graduation. Olivia thrives in university on aid. Sophia, 18 now, captains her debate team. Uncle Marco's bequest sits secure in trusts, awaiting maturity. Crucially, my grandchildren bloom sans abandonments. Spectre. Mrs. Clara visits with updates. Isabella, on Sophia. What now? I brace. She's in counseling, committed for 9 months. Self-funded via her diner shifts. Surprise swells. And more. Promoted to manager at a boutique. Looks healthier, grounded. Inquired on kids. No. Heard of your visit. Said you've done ample. Her turn to prove unaided change. Pride flickers for my daughter, long absent. Later Sophia returns, contemplative. Grandma. Question. Always. Will I ever seek my birth mom? Unsurprising. Unknown, Sophia. Yours alone. When prepared. Would it upset you? No, proud of your autonomy. Or never equally proud. Dinner prep prompts reflection. I harbored bitterness toward Sophia for burdening me, neglecting her offspring. Money grubbing return, but releasing it liberated me. Last month, Olivia hit 20 at her party. Grandma, thanks for rescue, but Maresso for instilling love's steadfastness. Lucas 22 accessed his share, first donated $15,000 to me. For your outlays, he insisted. I took it, valuing his gesture. I muse alternatives. If Sophia returned contrite, seeking pardon sans demands, perhaps harmony, extended kin possible, grandkids might have known her healthily. But life's no hypotheticals, decisions to find. I opted protection, unconditional love, amid maternal incapacity. Sacrificed.com, means for their steadiness, defended fiercely, no regrets. Today, witnessing Sophia debate, Olivia research, Lucas innovate, they're compassionate, diligent citizens, proof love and limits harmonize. Queries arise, hate Sophia, no. Comprehend youth's overwhelm, eras, but abandonment's no era-defining choice. She prioritized novelty. I, their welfare. We reap harvests. I sleep sound, prioritizing kin. She confronts perpetual absence. Lesson, justice as deserved outcomes. I earn grandchildren's devotion via given love. She, void via absence. Not retribution. If reformed, perhaps reconnection, their call, timed right. Meanwhile, I remain grandmother, guardian, haven, boundless love. True love endures, unyielding as tides, resilient as ancient oaks, eternal as unspoken vows, and that's sufficient.